Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be building out this pricing plan page. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to do a flex sort of grid here, and then we're going to do this switch here. This is probably the most difficult part of the whole design. So let's just jump straight into it. In my terminal I've initiated a blank project and I've got two files within here, which are index.html file and styles.css. I'm going to do parcel serve index.html. So this is going to set up my development server. I'm going to visit this URL. I'm going to go into my code editor. I'm going to do exclamation mark tab, which is going to do a boilerplate. Then I'm going to do link hyphen CSS. And I'm just going to call my CSS sheet, which is styles.css. And then I'm going to import my Open Sans font, which I've loaded from Google. And then I'm going to do star, box sizing, border box, and I'm going to do body, font family, Open Sans, and I'm going to do font size 16 pixels on the document. So I'm just going to close the sidebar. I'm just going to start building out the HTML of the page. Oops. If you're not interested in this section because it is a bit monotonous, I'll just speed this up a little bit so you don't have to see it all, but you can skip to the CSS part if you want. I'll leave a timestamp somewhere. Okay, so now that I've finished the HTML, we can start styling the page, because at the moment it just looks, well, it's just a blank canvas. So to begin with, let's actually add some colour to the body. I'm going to go back into the sketch document. I'm going to click the background, and then I'm going to take the hex code from the body. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to do background and then paste in the hex code. I'm going to do height 100 view VH, that's going to do 100% of the viewport. And let's also do color white. And then let's do display flex. And let's do align items center and justify content center. So that's going to bring everything into the center of the document, both vertically and horizontally. And let's actually start targeting the grid, because the grid is these three items. And I'm going to do display flex on this as well. That's going to bring them next door to each other. I'm going to give it a max width to begin with of calc 100% minus 30 pixels. So by doing this, if we bring it down like this, it's not going to like just sort of break. So if I uncomment that, comment it out. Well, no, actually it works, so it's fine. We can just leave that in like that, and we can do justify content, space between, and then I want to do target the grid item itself, and we can actually give it a background color of, let's see, I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to double click. I'm going to take this hex code, and I'm also noting that the border radius is 10 pixels and the width is 375. So back into the code, let's do background color. Let's do width 375 pixels. Oops. Do margin not, and we can give it, say, 10 pixels. And we can do border radius of 10 pixels as well. And let's also give it a bit of padding, so we can do padding 30 pixels. Okay, great. Now what we want to do is we want to bring all the text into the center, so we can do text align center. And we also want to, we can actually do this as display flex as well, and flex direction column. And I think that's all we need to do at this point for the grid item. We then want to target the H2 itself, and let's give this a size of, I say 25 pixels, and yeah, that's good enough. We then want to target the price. So the price in the HTML was called grid underscore price. So we could do dot grid underscore price, and we can give this a font size of, let's see, 56 pixels. And of course this span seems a bit big, so let's just do dot grid price span, and we can do font size, say 20 pixels. And let's also bring the weight to this up to 700. Cool. Now let's target the UL itself. Okay, maybe we want to bring the size of that one down. Let's see. So what we can do is grid item. We could do last child. Then we can do H2. And we could do font size, what was it now? 36 pixels. Okay, sorry, we're targeting the wrong element. We need to do last child dot grid underscore price to bring this down a bit. And let's also give it a little bit of margin, 10 pixels not, just to bring it a bit more in line. Then what we want to do is target the UL. So we can do dot grid underscore item UL. Let's do text align left. And let's do list style type none. So that gets rid of the bullet points. Then we can do, no, we can actually target the LI now. So we can do dot grid item ULLI, and let's give this a margin bottom of 20 pixels to space it out a bit, and let's make this relative, and then let's do this again, but this time let's target a pseudo element of before, and we can do content empty string position absolute. Let's do width 6 pixels, height 6 pixels, border radius 50%, and background, we want to get this pink color, so let's just grab this color by copy and pasting this. And because this pink's been used throughout the page, I'm just going to go to the top of the document, do colon root, and do hyphen pink, and paste this hex in. So this gives us a variable we can use throughout the document, and I want to target that by doing var brackets hyphen pink, and obviously the positioning is wrong at this point, so we can do left, let's do left not, and then on the LI itself we can do padding left, let's say 15 pixels, and maybe we can Let's have a look at the item. Okay, no, actually that's fine. We can do top 8 pixels to bring it into the center more. Actually, I want to do left -5 pixels, just so it brings it out a little bit. And yeah, I think we're fine there. Now I want to target this select. So to do that, I just want to do grid item, grid select, sorry. Let's do some padding to begin with. And we want to target the select within there. And we want to give it a border of 1 pixel solid, RGBA, 255, 255, 255, and then we want to give it an opacity of 0.3. And then we want to do background transparent. And let's just do color white. And on the grid.select div, let's do display flex. Flex direction column. And let's give this a padding of 20 pixels. And also a border radius of 4 pixels. And we now want this sort of text underneath to be on the left hand side, because if you look back at the design, slightly over there more. And what we're going to do is dot grid select, and then we want to target the span. We want to do text align left, color var pink, and let's give a margin left of, let's say, 30 pixels. Okay, that looks a lot better. I'm still not entirely pleased with the positioning of these. Yeah, of course. So by default, a UL has padding on the left. So I do that, it brings it over a bit, and we can now maybe remove the -5 on the before, and we can add some more additional. No, actually, we need to do left 0. And maybe add additional padding to the left of the UL. Okay, cool. That looks a lot better. I'm going to add a little bit of margin on this span. So margin top, 10 pixels. And let's bring the font size up on this select to, let's say, 18 pixels. And if we look back at the design, we can see that these, the UL and the button, are positioned like towards the bottom of the div. So I'm just going to close this. The way we do that is because we've got a flex on the sort of outer container, which is called grid item. It's display flex. We can actually target the UL and do margin top auto, which is going to like give it the automatic margin here and push it down to the bottom. We now can target these buttons by doing dot grid item A, do border 1 pixel solid, and let's do var pink again. Let's do padding 20 pixels, color white, text decoration none, and let's also give it some border radius 4 pixels. And we also want to target the selected class for the middle, so dot selected background var pink, and let's remove the selected class on the last one. Okay, that's looking quite cool. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it's very close. I've also got a cool idea. What we could do here is we could give it an effect. So when we hover the grid, let's just do grid hover, we can target the dot grid __ item and do opacity 0. Now let's do opacity 0.6. Give this grid item a transition 0.3 seconds, ease in out. And let's just do dot grid item hover opacity 1 important. So now when we hover it, we've got this sort of effect which looks cool. We can now target the like the switch container and the pricing plan text. So let's go back to the document. Let's do a div for pricing, text align center. I should bring everything into the middle. I'm going to target the H1, remove the margin bottom. And then I want to target the switch container. To padding 30 pixels not. And I want to do, let's see, we need to do display flex actually. And let's just do, now we don't even need to do display flex on that. Let's leave that as it is. And let's target the switch. So this is going to be sort of a hack. We're going to make a toggle from a standard checkbox. So I'm going to do dot switch. And I'm going to do position relative. I'm going to do display inline block. I'm going to give it a width of 60 pixels. And I'm going to give it a height of 34 pixels. And a margin of 0 to 10 pixels. So it gives us some separation between the text. And then I'm going to target the input inside. And I want to make it virtually disappear. So by doing opacity 0, do width 0 and height 0. That should go. And then I want to do the slider itself. So I could do dot slider. So we give it a position of absolute, and let's give it a cursor pointer, and top 0, left 0, bottom 0, right 0. I wish there was like a shorthand of doing that, just like one sort of property that could do it. And I give this a background of white. And let's give it a transition ready, so 0.3 seconds, ease in out. So we now need to give it, let's think, let's have a look. I've actually put the opacity 0 on the switch instead of on the input. Cool. Let's give this a border radius. 30 pixels. Keep making so many mistakes on this keyboard because it's like a new Mac. So I keep missing the keys. Slider before. Position absolute. Content empty string, height 26 pixels, width 26 pixels, left 4 pixels. I'll show you what I'm doing here now. Bottom 4 pixels, and we give this a background color of, we can give it the pink actually, and we need to give it a border radius 50%. So what we want to do now is when we click it, we want to trigger the checked class so that it brings it over to the right hand side. And what I mean by that is, let's do dot switch input dot checked. and then we want to target the dot slider. Dot slider, and actually the slider before, and we want to do transform, translate X, so on the X-axis, let's say 25 pixels, and that moves it over when we check it. And let's also give this a transition all 0.3 seconds, ease in, out, and that covers that. So if we bring this text in line, so actually with the switch container, let's actually do display flex, no, I'll save it, yeah, and then align items, center, justify content center. That'll bring everything into the middle. And yeah, I'm not going to do the responsive now, but you could just easily do that by doing the width 100%. But I think that looks nice and clean, and hope you enjoyed the video. So if you did, please hit the thumbs up button and hit subscribe. I'll be doing some more UI videos like this soon. So I'll see you guys soon.